Is there any plans to make this playable on PC, or is this strictly mobile forever?
Are there any? The current plan is to be on mobile, both Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC. Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
Now,
Yep. So if you guys do have phones, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer for Diablo Immortal, which has been delayed until 2022. The release of Blizzard's upcoming mobile game Diablo Immortal has been delayed until the first half of 2022. In a recent update, the Diablo Immortal development team speaks about the reasons behind the delay. Over the last months, the team has received extensive feedback from players around the world. According to the update, several alpha tests have shown that multiple features needed iteration and additional development to improve the overall gameplay experience. Now, that's an important one. I'll go back to that in a second. That includes massive changes, also this, to PvP and PvE systems, as well as accessibility features such as controller support. So I thought that Diablo Immortal was basically just kind of like a copy of another game that they had already created, the people that were designed or taken on board to design the Diablo Immortal, and they just kind of basically put Diablo assets into it. So it wasn't really kind of almost a finished game. Remember, this is announced 2018, and they actually had it playable at 2018. And this is a mobile game, and most people can knock those out pretty quickly. So how complicated can it be? So the feedback that they've got means that they're delaying a game that was released, well, essentially, in quotation marks, released, announced 2018 until 2022 at least. So multiple features needed iteration and additional development to improve the overall gameplay experience. So in order to improve the overall gameplay experience, it needs massive changes to PvP and PvE systems. That says to me that they have no idea what they're doing. And the whole thing is a mess. I just thought it was initially delayed because it was so poorly received. And they were just waiting a year or two or even 3 before they release it. So it's quietened down. But obviously Blizzard have been in the news a lot lately for nothing good. So Diablo Immortal has once again been delayed. But they're actually openly admitting there that it needs massive improvement. How much more can you need to do to a mobile game? That's kind of what fascinates me. Now, we got a nice little bit here. This was based on their latest projections. Blizzard having a little portfolio for each of their games. So Blizzard's launch of Burning Crusade Classic in June marked the start of what is intended to be a very significant 18-month period for content releases. So 18 months from the June is when they're planning on putting out essentially World of Warcraft stuff, Hearthstone, Diablo, and Overwatch 2. So I don't know what May AUs are. They got 26 million of them though. Maybe that's players over all of those games. World of Warcraft net bookings again grew a double-digit percentage, driven by the launch of Burning Crusade Classic. Subscriber numbers and hours played were higher following the release. World of Warcraft remains on track for such much stronger engagement. That's everyone's favorite word. Engagement. How engaged are you? Type in the comment section below. Are you super engaged with this video so far? Have I got your engagement? Then it's typical outside of a modern expansion year, but that's got to have fallen off a lot. I know a ton of people gone back to retail, which is a game that most people were complaining about in the first place, from Classic. So, yeah. And then they're going to fall off retail as well when they get bored of that. So will they then go back to do Classic? Some people will, to continue doing like KO Fast, Tempest Keep, and Serpent Shrine Cavern for Lady Fash, and then onwards to Burning Crusade Illidan. Some people go back and forth between retail, but I think that's just going to pitter off. You know, they're going to bounce back and forth, and fewer people are going to go back. So they're going to have like almost no people. Right, so yeah, that can't stay good for long. Hearthstone, the latest expansion of the Hearthstone franchise, Forge and Barons, delivered expansion over expansion net bookings growth for a second consecutive release following its March launch. Is that true though? I'm kind of like outside of the loop on Hearthstone. I haven't played Hearthstone in like 2-3 years. I was really addicted to it at one point, and I just completely fell off it afterwards because basically what happened is I didn't like to pay too much money for that game. So I essentially disenchanted my own cards to get the packs that I needed to build the decks for that season that were strong. But on the latest season that I was playing, I had to disenchant all of my cards to the point where I basically disenchanted everything I had, including important cards, just so I could partly build a deck that I wanted to play, but couldn't finish off because I didn't put enough money into the game. So that's when I was just like, yep, I'm done. With the latest expansion, United in Stormwind, launching today, and Mercenaries, a new mode in the popular role-playing genre, planned for the... Oh, that's interesting, role-playing genre. Not so interesting for me, but I think there's a big deal with people being into D&D and role-playing these days, so maybe they can make something back from that. We expect the financial performance of Hearthstone to strengthen in the second half of the year. See, that just made me think, what if they had a Hearthstone game where you could, a bit like Warcraft 3, where you start your game, you're either a strength, agility, or intelligence hero, and then you roll some cards, you roll the dice, and you get to determine whether you're going to have +4 intelligence or +2 strength. You know what I mean? +4 intelligence, +4 strength, +4. So you could build a character. Do you see what I mean? Like you would with Warcraft 3. Then you'd build their abilities, which would be their cards that they can play, like Blizzard or Water Elemental or, you know, like Brilliance Aura, which would allow you to sort of regenerate an extra card each turn or something like that. Why don't you just do a Warcraft 3 in Hearthstone? Oh, that's right, because they hate Warcraft 3. So the Diablo stuff, the highly anticipated Diablo 2 Resurrected, will launch on PC and console on September 23rd. Now, although they screwed us over on Reforged, I think I will try out the Diablo 2, because I really wanted, honestly, for the longest time, I've said this years and years ago, I wanted to basically play Diablo 2 again, because I did play it, put it on the WTii channel. You can go check it out. It's abysmal. It's one of my worst playthroughs I've ever done. It's just basically me getting my ass handed to me as a sorceress. I did manage to beat the game, though, but I played it in the worst way possible, apparently, because I had no idea what I was doing. So I would always want to have another crack at the game itself, and this was just kind of an excuse to play it again. On mobile, Diablo Immortal continued to progress well through testing. Obviously not, because they've delayed it and it needs massive updates, so I'm not sure what it means about progress well. Receiving excellent feedback for its gameplay. How could it have excellent feedback for its gameplay? And then the next thing is includes massive changes to PvP and PvE systems based on the feedback that they've had. Okay. Blizzard continues to make strong progress in Diablo 4 and is allocating substantial resources to creating exciting in-game content to drive engagement over multiple years. This is what we knew was going down. Now, I said this in a previous video. I think what's going to happen is Blizzard going to take the bad ending. They're going to go Diablo 4. It's basically the last bastion of hope for many fans of Blizzard is Diablo 4. Is it going to be a good game? I think it's going to be a good game, but it's not going to be a great game, because what's going to drag it down are going to be the inevitable pay-to-win aspects of it and a plethora of monetizations. So read this carefully. Strong progress on Diablo 4, allocating substantial resources to creating exciting in-game content to drive engagement over multiple years. Now, that sounds like a good thing if it was nothing to do with pay to win, but I have no faith in Blizzard. And I can't help but feel and read that actually has much more to do with providing like downloadable content. That kind of thing. Oh, you want to fight this extra boss? You need to pay for it to get access to it or whatever. That's how I'm reading it. I'm not reading it as they would probably want you to read it, which is like we're putting lots of effort to making sure the game's got tons of content for you to enjoy without having to pay a penny. Anyway, Overwatch 2. Development passed an important internal milestone in recent weeks. After a great response to the recent community update, the team is looking forward to revealing more of the game in the coming months as they approach the later stages of production. Like, is anything happening with... I haven't heard anything about Overwatch 2. I don't have a mobile... Oh, I do actually have a mobile phone. It's over there. I suppose I could check. Let me just look up Overwatch 2. No, nothing. Okay, so never mind. It's just going to basically be a re-updated Overwatch. I can't imagine there's anything good. I mean, that would be the biggest subversion of expectations. With Overwatch 2 would have like amazing gameplay, new game modes that would be really entertaining and fun for people to follow and watch. But really, it just seems like it's going to be Overwatch just with a sticker on top of it. So you got all of this. This is in regards to the Immortal systems. I'm not too interested in that. Just basically the PvE changes they're looking at. Raids and bounties. PvP changes, battlegrounds and cycle of strife. I mean, it looks like a fun enough game to play on your mobile. Like, if you was going to play games on your mobiles, you could play it. I don't see why not. But there's no way it's not going to be, like, absolutely obliterated by, like, things that you can buy to make your character stronger or access stronger characters. You want to play as Diablo or the Butcher, you got to pay an extra thing to get access to that kind of stuff. Or maybe it's going to have those things, don't in it, where they sort of like they can improve your character's progression by like 100% or something like that for a week, but you have to pay that kind of stuff. It's going to have that stuff, isn't it? So yeah, controller support and accessibility, character progression, changes to weekly XP cap. Why is there a cap? That's mobile phone in a nutshell, right? The last item on the list of changes is related to character progression. First and foremost, Blizzard intends to improve endgame quality by adding more ways to make a top tier and legendary gear exciting and sought after. During alpha, some players complained that character progression wasn't meaningful enough after reaching max level. In addition, a bunch of players has reached a hidden weekly experience cap during a testing a few months ago. Thanks to the blog post, we have learned that this cap was intended to keep players from playing Immortal for a potentially unhealthy number of weeks. That's bullshit. That's to stop them from getting strong enough, so they're going to have to pay to get strong enough instead. According to the post, the development team has learned its lesson and tried to be less harsh on hardcore players. Will offer in experience bonuses. There you go, experience bonuses to more casual Immortal players. So if you're a casual, you work throughout the week, you don't have so much time to game. Just pay a little bit more, and you can be as good as someone that puts a lot more effort into the game. In terms of experience cap, the weekly cap will be removed and replaced by a global cap that increases over time, which ultimately allows late cameras to come sharp. Oh, that's always suspicious, that stuff. Yeah, we all know that Diablo Immortal is going to be. I mean, I haven't ever thought about even trying the game, but I should probably try the game. I think I was going to do something like I could do something like how far can I get in Diablo Immortal without spending £1? That kind of thing. Probably about as far as the loading screen, I would imagine. So there you go. There's your Diablo Immortal news. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to thumbs up, subscribe, share, smash that like button. Check me out, twitch.tv/WTii. I'll see you later.